Thanks for staying with us. It's time for our relationship segment, and we have with us on the couch Tolu Afonja. She's a trainer, speaker, integrative life relationship, and marriage coach. She's also a human resource professional of over 18 years, cutting across education, banking, consulting, and coaching. She's fondly referred to as the nurturer. Yes, very passionate about nurturing individuals and couples to evolve to thrive as they gain clarity, overcome mindset limitations, and discover their options. And most importantly, be better. This morning, we'll be discussing red flags during relationships, courtships, and marriages. How are you doing this morning? The nurturer is here to nurture us into being better individuals. So talk to us first of what are red flags?
So red flags are really those signs, behavioral tendencies, warning signs that we see and we need to, be aware of because they can cause toxicity in the relationship. It can cause a lot of mental health issues as well in a relationship. And so it is important that we are aware of these things to be able to make a very good decision, judgment of whether you want to go ahead with the relationship or not.
Yeah. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritties, that is the intricacies of these red flags, how do we identify or how can we identify these red flags?
So these red flags, there are a lot. But first, one needs to really be aware of himself and know what it is that I would not take, right? So some of these red flags, I'll just use the acronym red flags itself, right? So rudeness or disrespectful behavior, constantly, your partner is rude. I'm going to use the word partner as the person you're in a relationship with. Is constantly rude, belittling you, putting you down, and is not apologetic about it. Okay. Emotional manipulation, that's the E.
Emotional manipulation.
So always using guilt tripping you, for example, and making you feel, gaslighting, and all. For the D, I would say dishonesty. So dishonesty, hiding information from you, not being very secretive and not being transparent. That's what I would call dishonesty. F will be fear-based decisions. So you feel you're always walking on eggshells. You can't fully express yourself. And so you make decisions based on what you think your partner thinks is right, not what you think should be done, based on your own values and ideologies. I would use the L for lack of accountability, where your partner doesn't take responsibility for his or her actions, and always pushing the blame game on you. The A will be abusive tendencies. All these red flags are really abusive tendencies, physically, verbally, emotionally. And G, gaslighting, where your feelings are not valued, they're dismissed, and making you feel as if you're not, And the S will be selfishness.
Wow.
Selfishness in terms of, every relationship has to be mutually beneficial. But where it's always me, and I don't bother care about you in any way, then there's a level of selfishness that needs to be addressed.
Wow. Wow.
That's a lot.
I think that is the most brilliant definition of red flags and what it's, it represents and symbolizes. I mean, breaking it down. That's the best way I have, heard it being explained. So now, once you have identified these red flags, now I'm talking about the partner now, identified these red flags in a person, in your partner, what do you do? How do you communicate it to this person where they don't feel like you are calling them out or criticizing them, or, oh, you're trying to be perfect, are you the only perfect person, or now you know better, or now you know past, that sort of thing. How do you communicate it? How do you approach that conversation in a way that doesn't make them feel insulted?
The thing is, there's a way that this person, your partner, seemingly already probably knows that I have this behavioral tendencies.
You think they know?
Sometimes they do. So for those that don't even know, and we're calling it out, how we call it out, like you're asking, is very important. So for you to already have entered a relationship with this person means that there is some form of rapport going on between the two of you, and there's something that you probably love or like about this individual. You know how to like sort of rub his or her ego, and so you go with that approach, right? Especially for the individuals, if your partner is very domineering, dominating and all, you know, so you use that approach to be able to have these kind of conversations, not critically trying to pull them down, but helping them to be aware of it in the first place. But you, as the partner observing and receiving on the receiving end, you have to be assertive enough to be able to approach it. Because where you are not assertive, where your self-esteem, you're not secure in yourself, then
it's easy for you to compromise.
Yes, it's easy for you to compromise and, you know, try to wish it away or explain it away or think it away, that maybe even without your partner telling your imagination is going wild, you will tell yourself that, oh no, my imagination is going wild, and so you will try to diminish it, that no, this is not a red flag, it is something wrong with me. But that comes from your own experiences, maybe baggage, trauma of the past. Exactly. You know, so we have on our own to build ourselves up to the point of being assertive and being able to identify them in the first place. Then when we are able to identify them, then we can, you know, communicate in a very loving manner, such that you're not pulling the person down, but the person sees it as a way that you're really trying to help me. And because we want to go into this union or whatever it is together, there's a bigger picture, then I have to work on myself to get to that bigger picture.
Now let's talk about the influence or the impact of a third party in this regard, in a situation where you've communicated, you've loved up, you've tried everything, but this person is still, you know, resolute on who they are. Like some people say, oh, this is who I am. You know, don't try to change me. You know, in bringing in a third party to intervene, is that advisable?
Very advisable,
okay.
Right? Because what a third party does is, the third party doesn't tell you that this is, I mean, a professional now, if it's the third party is a professional, it's not to outrightly tell you that this is your problem, right? There are tools, interventions that you would just see for yourself that this is me. And then you're able to see, how is this a limitation for me? You know, how is this a limitation for me? And, you know, and by seeing a limitation, you take responsibility of that change. So usually they think that it's their partner trying to change them because they haven't taken ownership of it. But the third party helps you to see yourself as you are, and then you're able to take, you know, responsibility, and you take ownership of that change process that you start for yourself.
This has been a very, very insightful conversation. Thank you so much. Red flags, rude, emotional manipulation, dishonesty, fear-based decisions,
lack of accountability,
abusive tendencies, and
gaslighting
and selfishness.
Exactly. Thank you.
Good
student.
Yes, yes. And those are the signs to look out for. Red flags. Thank you so much.